Today, we are diving deep with NOAA's Windows to the Deep, making all kinds of discoveries at the bottom of the ocean. So, Expedition Coordinator for Windows to the Deep 2021, Matt Dornback, he is on board a vessel 270 miles off the coast of the great city of Jacksonville, Florida. He is out there in the water, and guess what? We are joining him on board live right now. Matt, what's up?
Hey, we're exploring the ocean. It can't be any better than this. We get to do the best job in the world out here.
I love that energy. All right, first of all, what is Windows to the Deep exploration? Explain to the people at home.
So we are on a campaign to explore the southeastern coast of the United States. And so this is an expansive exploration effort to map all of our seafloor within our United States exclusive economic zone, and then use a robot, an ROV, to go down and look at all of the amazing geology and biology that's down there, like you see on your screen. We see amazing jellyfish, corals, other fish in general, crabs, all over the ocean. And so we're just trying to learn from these animals and discover what's really out there.
What a cool job you have, Matt. I have to ask, because behind you looks a little bit like a television control room. What are all those screens? What are you monitoring? What do they do?
So right here, over my shoulder, we have mapping going on right now. And we do this every night. We go out and map the seafloor and get the bathymetry, or basically a height map of the seafloor, and then stitch that all together into one big map that you can see on something like Google Earth. On my other shoulder, you see a replay of the dive that went on earlier today. And so that is the seafloor that we looked at earlier. There's rocky outcroppings and sponges and corals popping up. And we had our biologists and geologists on shore and on the ship all talking together and on a teleconference line like we are now, and discussing all these amazing things that we're seeing.
Got it. I thought that thing over your shoulder that was colorful was a rainbow bright, but now I know it's the topography of the ocean floor. Hey, speaking of the ocean floor, we heard you came across a shipwreck. Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So there's been a long lost shipwreck that some archaeologists have been looking for. It's called the SS Bloody Marsh. And it was a World War II tanker that was sunk by a German U-boat.
Whoa.
And they've been looking for this for years, trying to find out what its ultimate fate, where it lied on the seafloor. And we have some amazing mappers on board, and they're able to track down the location with the seafloor bathymetry maps. And we dove down on that place, and lo and behold, there's the wreck right there in front of us.
How incredible. So tell us, I'm sure it's not every day or even very common that you come across something like this. What does this discovery contribute to your voyage that you're on now, and even add to the history of our nation?
Yeah, I mean, think about all of the effort that went into World War II, all the different ships and people that worked and fought during that war. This is part of our, maritime and United States history. And so having that chance to uncover just a little more of that, a small piece, but a nice piece of the puzzle for people to learn more and give some piece to the sailors that were lost during this attack. It's really important and really gratifying to be a member of the team that can do that.
All right, we always have to bring it back to the weather because, again, like we say every night, we're gigwandous weather nerds here. So does the weather play a factor in your dives? You're way under the water. I would assume probably not, but I've got to ask.
Yeah, the weather, we look at the weather every day out here. Waves and wind can be our worst enemy on a bad day. If we have high waves or high wind, and also currents like the Gulf Stream, we can't go in the water. We can't deploy our robots over the side of the ship if there's too high of waves, because we risk damaging them and making them inoperable. If we have really high currents in the water, then it's too fast for our robots to be able to move in. Then we have to find a new place to dive. So we're always checking the weather every hour almost, sometimes, to make sure that a certain location is safe to dive in.
All right, we love it. That's job security, man. Hey, have you ever come across a pineapple under the sea?
You should check out. We do have a SpongeBob and Patrick clip from our previous expedition. You can look it up on Twitter.
Oh, we're going to have to do that. So besides, uncovering history, finding shipwrecks, tell us about some other big discoveries that you've made from these dives.
So over the years, we've had some really great discoveries. One, I would say a great discovery is that we've mapped almost the entire eastern seaboard of the United States. So we really know what's out there now. Before we had an idea, but now we have amazing maps of canyons and seamounts and the escarpment that we're diving on now. All of these previously weren't known about. And so between that and these huge coral provinces, this mounds upon mounds of corals that stretch from Charleston, South Carolina down to, we'll say, Cape Canaveral, Florida. Nobody knew about these. So these ecosystems are brand new to science and changing all of our perceptions of what the deep ocean can be like.
That makes me so happy to hear, because that was the next thing that I was going to ask you about. How are the corals doing? How are they looking? Have you seen any improvement?
These are quite different than the corals you would see in somewhere like the Florida Keys or something like that. These corals start at normally below 100 meters, so we'll say 300 feet, and they don't rely on sunlight. Those images that you see in the pictures, they're all white corals because they don't have the same photosynthetic algae that live with them that can give them that food. So they actually rely on filter feeding. They grab stuff out of the water, so they need high current areas. But overall, they seem to be doing really well. We haven't seen too many impacts on the deep water corals yet, which is good to see.
Cool. All right, expedition coordinator for Windows to the Deep, Matt Dornback. That was fascinating stuff, man. Hopefully we can talk to you again. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, sir. We salute you.
Have a good night. Thank you, Matt.